Andrea. I'm a psychologist in Sydney, Cape Breton, and today I'd like to give you a challenge. I'd like you to think about the last time that something bad happened to you. Maybe you felt an emotion that you didn't like. Maybe something happened to you in your life that was upsetting or disappointing. Maybe you had an argument with somebody. And I want you to think about how you responded to yourself. Now, maybe if you're like a lot of us, you responded with self-criticism and judgment. Now go back to that situation and also notice how your body feels and what kind of emotions you have in response to this kind of self-criticism and this kind of response. Now I want you to think about what would happen if you told a good friend or a family member that same situation, and how would they respond? So maybe they would respond with empathy and concern and compassion. Hopefully they would. And how does this make you feel? Now I want you to compare the two. And I'm thinking, if you responded with self-judgment and criticism, it probably didn't feel very good. You might have even been not motivated to fix the situation because you just were overwhelmed with feelings of guilt or shame or inadequacy. And there's lots of reasons that we respond to these situations in this way, especially in our culture. One reason is lots of people struggle with feelings of inadequacy, feeling like deep down they're not good enough, which is really sad. And I'd like to challenge this and say that conceptually it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. First off, why are you bad and everybody else is good? That doesn't make any sense. And also, it's not a good way to relate to yourself in terms of mental health. A second point that oftentimes people think that self-criticism, what it does for them, is that they think it motivates them. They think if I beat myself up real good when I'm on the ground, maybe give myself a couple good kicks to the ribs when I'm down, maybe this will motivate me to do better next time. Well, in fact, generally it doesn't. And when we respond with kindness, we tend to be more resilient. We have more energy, we have more confidence in ourselves to be able to bounce back from these situations and do better next time. So, this is called self-compassion. Self-compassion is when we respond to a situation in our life that's not going so well with kindness and concern and understanding. It doesn't mean that we wallow in it or that we allow ourselves to hurt ourselves or other people because of this situation. We still might need to do repairs, but that we're kinder to ourselves. Kristen Neff is a researcher in the States, and she describes self-compassion as involving three things. It involves mindfulness, so noticing what the feelings and thoughts and physical states are in that situation as being a key component so that you know what's going on inside your body. A second piece she calls common humanity, and common humanity is when you understand that you're not alone, that you're not the only one struggling with this, that you're not uniquely flawed in some way. A lot of my clients talk about feeling like they're very different from other people because of how they struggle. Yet if we can see that everybody has these kinds of struggles sometimes, and if anybody went through that same situation, then maybe they might feel the same way too. It makes you not feel so alone. And finally is self-kindness. And self-kindness is how do you respond to that situation? What do you need to do for yourself to be kind? You might imagine how a good friend would respond like we did earlier. And a lot of people tell me, this is really hard for me. I don't know if I can do this. This is how I've related to myself maybe for years and years and years. I don't think I can change. And the good news is that our brains are plastic. which means that they're changeable, and they're changeable through your entire life. How you use your brain will determine what happens next. So if you start treating yourself with more kindness and compassion during these situations, rather than reacting with self-criticism and judgment, then the more times you do that, the more change will happen in your brain. So you might do this through informal type practices. You might notice when you're judging yourself and try to take a pause and think, what would a friend say in this situation? And if a friend would say something different, just say that thing to yourself. Even if you don't believe it in the beginning, just practicing treating yourself in a different way can have huge, huge impacts in how you relate to yourself. Another way is through more formal practices, such as self-compassion meditation, or as some call loving kindness meditations, and you can direct that towards yourself. You can also direct it towards others. And many would say that if you're kinder to yourself, you generally are kinder to other people too, which is great for everyone. So you can find a lot of these self-compassion meditations online. I'm not going to do one right now, but you can find lots of wonderful ones on Kristen Neff's website. You can find lots of loving kindness meditations on different apps. So there's lots of meditation apps, and many of them are free right now, which is great too, that you can start practicing this. Because remember, the more you do it, the more you'll see the changes. And having a better relationship with yourself is probably a good idea, because you're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life. So you might as well enjoy that relationship. So it was lovely to see everybody today. I hope everybody is healthy. And I challenge you to be kinder to yourself today. Good luck.